Black Cat is the newest hero in Season 7.5 of Marvel Rivals. Here's how you play her. Alright, so Black Cat is a 275 HP duelist who is primarily a dive-focused character, which means you want to be really stealthy and get in and out quick while assassinating targets. And she has a lot of abilities to help her do that, which first off is a wall climb. Black Cat can go up to a wall and press space to climb up vertically, and if she holds space, she can cling to the wall. This is similar to Daredevil's ability, where he can cling to the wall and climb up as well. She also has a double jump ability, which doesn't have a cooldown, so you can use it whenever you want to, which you can combine with the wall climb to double jump off the ground, climb to a wall, and then double jump off the wall again because the double jump has no cooldown. You can actually double jump off of every single one of her abilities. So I'm gonna start off on the ground, double jump, cling to the wall, double jump again, dash up, double jump again, use my yoink, double jump again, dash, double jump again, and then if I had coins, I could use Phantom Pursuit and then double jump again after that. When I mean coins, I mean that icon in the middle, that yellow circle, and the 0 next to it. That's her coin meter, which is her first passive ability. Anytime Black Cat does damage with her base claw swipes, she gains 50 coins, up to a maximum of 1,000. I'm at 1,000 right now, and I'm not gaining any more than that. Now, these coins are her main gameplay loop. Almost everything she does uses these coins. These coins are very important to Black Cat's kit, and I'll touch on what they do a little bit later. So, Black Cat's base kit involves her main claw swipe, her double jump, and her wall climb. Then she also has a dash, and she has 2 charges of those dashes. Right? It's an omnidirectional dash, meaning you can dash up, you can dash down, you can dash left, right. You can even do a double dash, kind of like how Black Panther does it, like this. Be careful because you might not be able to escape afterwards, so use that wisely. Black Cat also has this projectile that I like to call the yoink, and it's essentially like a grappling hook that you throw out and you steal 300 coins from anybody you hit, like that. It's a very good way to start off a combo, so then you actually have the coins to use all of your abilities. So Black Cat's dash and her yoink are the only abilities she has that don't require coins. Everything else she has requires coins. So if you hold down right click, you'll see Black Cat go into this pose right here, and then she has 2 abilities from this right click. She has Claw Whip or Phantom Pursuit. And if you look down on the bottom left by my melee, it looks like that right now. But then if I hold right click, it changes to that icon, and then a little icon that says 150 coins appears above it. That means to Claw Whip, as you can see in the middle right there where it says Claw Whip on the left click, I have to spend 150 coins to use that ability. You can see Phantom Pursuit is bound to E, and if you look at the bottom right now it's the yoink. But if I hold down right click, it becomes a different icon, and it says I need to use 300 coins to use that ability. Now, these are her 2 most important abilities in her kit, in my opinion, aside from her shop, which I'll get to a little bit later. Let's see if I use Claw Whip right now, right? You can see it uses 150 coins, right? So I was at 400, but now I'm at 250. But if I land the ability, I actually gain 50 back. So it's kind of like 33% off if you manage to land it. Then her other ability, Phantom Pursuit. I'm going to use it from up here, and you'll see what it does. It's almost like an auto-tracking dash that does a lot of damage. And even though it does cost 300 coins to use, if I do manage to hit it, I get 150 coins back, which is essentially like I'm only using 150 coins. And this ability has a very key property to it, because you can actually dodge ultimates with it. It gives you iframes very similar to a magic portal or a Star-Lord flip kick, where if you time it properly, you can dodge like an Iron Man ult or a Scarlet Witch ult or anything you want to. During that dash animation where she leaves that yellow trail, that's the moment where she's immune to attacks. So keep that in mind when you're playing Black Cat, and be ready to dodge any ultimates if you need to. So that's pretty much Black Cat's base kit. Now I'm going to go on to her shop. So if you press and hold F, this portal will open up in the middle, and you'll have 6 abilities to choose from, each costing either 100 coins or 200 coins. Right now I only have 150 coins, so I'm going to use this Tablet of Destiny's ability right there on the bottom left, and I spent 100 coins. But now you can see my F icon changed to the icon that showed up on the shop menu. Now if I press F, I get a random number of coins, anywhere from being 0 coins back, 50 coins back, 100, 200, 500, and then even 1,000 coins, as shown in the trailer. I haven't had that happen to me yet, but it's probably possible. It's just super rare. Now, this is literally gambling, right? I just spent 100 coins. I'm at 0 now. I got 200 back that time. Bought it again and bet down to 100. I got 200 that time. Right, bought it, and I'm at 200. Now I'm at 250. Got 50 again. 200. Got 200 again. Got nothing that time, right? So this is an ability I personally probably wouldn't use too much because it can just screw you over a lot of the time. Even though getting no coins is pretty rare, but even though it just happened to me right there, it's pretty rare. I've maybe only had it happen to me in a match once, but I was at like 100 coins, or I think I was at like 150 coins, and it was enough to do a claw swipe. But then I was like, you know what? I'm actually gonna buy that and see if I can get 200 coins back. I got nothing, and I had to sit in the back and wait to use my yoink to gain 300 coins back, and then wait for that to get off cooldown again before I can dive. So her second ability, right here, the Helm of Hades, right, costs 200, and then her F changes to that icon. What this ability does is it's essentially gives you just Psylocke's invisibility, faster movement speed, and invisibility for 2 seconds, and the invisibility goes away if you attack at all. Right, very useful for sneaking around enemies, getting to a back line, or escaping bad situations, but be wary because your footsteps are still audible while you're invisible. The third ability is called this Faultine Flame Orb, right? It only costs 100. If I throw it out, it will keep traveling in a straight line until it hits the surface. I'm actually going to show you guys both situations. So press F, it will just keep going forever, right, until it hits the surface, and then it just disappears. But now I'm gonna throw it here. Then it hits the wall, right? And then now anybody within line of sight of it gets exposed through walls to you and your entire team. Now, if I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what this orange line does. I don't think it actually does anything to the enemy. I think it's more so like a visual indicator so that enemies know where it is. And from what I can tell, it locks on to the person closest to the orb. Now, you can shoot the orb. Like a Moon Knight Ankh or a Namor Squid, you can shoot the orb and it has very low health, which is why it probably only costs 100. So if you're going up against Black Cat, be on the lookout for that orb because you can break it. All right, now her fourth ability is this Chernobog's Crystal, right? You'll see the icon change to that on your F. If I use it, that happens. Now, normally that won't do anything. But if you are in the right circumstance, it will actually save your life because it's actually a self-cleanse. So if you were to get stunned by like a Luna Freeze or a Doctor Strange ultimate, or like, you know, anything that will stun you in place, if you have this ability, you can press F while you're stunned and you will unstun yourself. So it's a very strong ability, but it's something you sort of have to predict that they're gonna stun you, so you have it in your inventory ready to go. Her fifth ability, probably her most unique, and it's called the Ring of Zona. Now, as you saw right there, I pressed it on accident. What it can allow you to do is create essentially a mini Doctor Strange portal, and it can allow you to travel through walls. You and your entire team can actually go through this as well. So if I hold down, if I press F, you don't even have to hold it, you can just press it. Black Cat starts doing the sling ring animation. You can see I can now place this ring on the ground or on walls or on ceilings. I'm a bit too far away to place it up there. But you'll see that right now it's red. That means there's nowhere for the portal to open up on the other side. So I cannot place it here. But if you see it turn orange with a little icon of the portal appear above the middle of your screen, and you'll see it says, like right now it says 11 meters. That means whenever I place it here, the portal is going to open up 11 meters away from this first portal. This can be used very aggressively to engage secretly in a backline or go through walls that the enemy won't exactly be expecting. So if you look right here, I can place it. I think I saw a thing that's a 26. Yeah, maybe even 27. Yeah. So right there, if I place it down, the other portal is going to open up 27 meters down below me. If I go through the portal, I'm now in the launch pad for the training room. So yeah, you and your entire team can go through that portal, which can set up for some crazy plays and hitting enemies where they're least expecting. All right, her last ability is this Mento Fish. Costs 200. And when you throw it on the ground, I can't really demonstrate actually what exactly it does here. So let me go over to where I can. All right, so the Mento Fish. When you throw it on the ground, you'll see what happens to this flying bot right here. They get grounded. You see, they fall to the ground. It's an effect similar to like a Bucky orb. If you've ever hit a flyer with your red orb on Bucky, it makes him fall to the ground. But that's not all it does. It also applies the Earthbound status effect, meaning anybody with a movement ability like a dash, a teleport, a jump. So like a Black Panther dash, Star-Lord flip kick, Spider-Man uppercut, Thing charge, any character like White Fox teleport, anything that classifies as a movement ability cannot be used within the zone of the Mento Fish, within this radius. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's probably the best item in her shop, because Black Cat is a dive hero, and traditionally supports like Gambit or Invis or Cloak and Dagger or White Fox are very hard to dive because they have those movement abilities, like Invis can double jump away, White Fox can teleport, Gambit can dash, Cloak can fade. But if you use the Mento Fish and you dive in, now they can't teleport away until it's gone or they move out of the radius of this ring. So her Mento Fish is a very strong ability. Now lastly is her ultimate. Her ultimate, honestly, I cannot tell if it's very strong or very weak. Sometimes my ultimate, it feels like it does nothing. Other times I feel like I'm getting the entire team wiped with it. So if you press Q, you'll see every single enemy is keylined through walls and they have this icon above their head. And you saw that one turn red. Any enemy with that icon above their head, if they get under a certain amount of health, that icon turns red, and you'll see what that does in a second. So the enemies with the white icon, you could see where it says press Q to pounce, right? And now I auto dashed to that person, and then it says press Q to slash, and that slash does percentage damage. So if her claws do normal damage, right? Like let's say it's 50 damage per claw swipe. I don't know the exact number. Her slash and her ultimate, let's say, does 30% damage, right? So whether an enemy has 100 health or 1,000 health, it will still do the same percentage damage. Think of it like Wolverine's claws or Venom's ultimate, right? So it actually does a lot of damage to tanks too. But you can see all these other enemies that are also outlined. I can dash to them from super far away, which is kind of insane. If I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how useful that actually is in a real match, because chances are your team isn't there. I mean, unless like you're coming back from spawn and you have a really long line of sight on an enemy. I've seen a lot of people going crazy that's ridiculous. I don't think it is. I don't think it's that crazy, because it's two situations. Either your entire team is over there and you pop your ult to get over there, which is just like a big time saver, or you're with your team and you pop your ult and then you dash that far away and now you're just 1v6ing and you're gonna die. So I don't think that's super strong of an ability. At least the that super long dash. So when you cast Black Cat's ultimate, you gain the ability to pounce on an enemy, which then turns to a slash. And when the icon turns red, the slash will insta-kill, which then will reset your ability to pounce. If you pounce on somebody, it then resets your ability to slash. You get them really low. The red icon means that it can be reset, so then you can pounce again. And then it turns red, it will do enough damage to kill with the slash. Then it resets to the pounce. You get them low, and then the red means your slash will kill. Then you pounce on somebody, get them low. The red will mean your slash will kill. Then you dash, you pounce. Pounce, you get the kill. The red means, again, slash will kill, and you pounce. And it's constant rhythm of you pounce to an enemy, you get them low enough, and then the icon turns red. And then you slash them to secure the kill, which then resets your ability to pounce, which then gives you the ability to slash again. So then when they're low, you get the kill, you can then pounce again. So it's this constant cycling of pouncing and then slashing, pouncing and then slashing, and you're using the slash to secure a kill, so then you can go in and then get your pounce reset. Like I said, I don't know, I can't tell if it's a really strong ability or a really weak ability. It's kind of like a Bucky ultimate, right? Where if you use it on its own, you're probably not going to get any kills unless you have your team there to help you, right? But unlike a Bucky ultimate, you can't really set it up, right? Because if you use like a Groot ultimate or a Doctor Strange ultimate, they're all stunned in a group, which then Bucky can then all of them at once. It's kind of like Black Cat's ability. You have to use with somebody diving with you to help you secure those kills, because if you can't secure those kills, your ultimate does nothing, right? If you just go in and use it by yourself, Black Cat's damage is not very high. Her damage can be out-healed, which means your ult is kind of just rendered useless. So you really want to use her ult wisely, and there's a tip I actually have for using her ult effectively a little bit later. Black Cat also has a team up with White Fox and Captain America that she is the anchor for, meaning she doesn't get any abilities, but she gives White Fox and Captain America an ability. So Captain America gains an ability that he can use to increase the size of his shield. I'll just see it pop up in a second, right there. And any projectile that bounces off of his shield is 100% accurate, meaning if, like, let's say a Punisher ultimates and then Captain America blocks it with his shield, he can redirect the bullets coming from Punisher's ultimate directly where his crosshair is aiming at. And then White Fox gains a AoE heal that I think also slows enemies down nearby and does damage. That also resets a tail on command for her, which is also a very nice ability to have, because then it allows her to do more like teleport and do more healing. I think it's a very, very, very good team up, because it's a team up between a tank, a DPS, and a support that are all going in doing the same thing, which is diving. So you get that team up whenever you can. All right, so yeah, her claw swipes gives you overshield up to a maximum of 375, right? So hit once, it gives me 50 overshield, and now I can't get any higher than 325, right? But you can get up to 375 overshield, like I mentioned earlier, because even though you can't get any more overshield from her claw whip, her yoink gives her another 50 overshield. So keep that in mind when you're diving, as that can help you really stay alive. It gives you an extra 100 health between her claw swipes and her yoink. You'll notice this cat icon appear above an enemy's head when you go to use her claw whip or her yoink. What this icon means is anybody with this icon above their head after you attack them, there's a % chance that if they were to land a headshot on you, it actually just does normal damage instead of critical hit damage. All right, so now what are some combos with Black Cat? Well, since Black Cat is a dive hero, you're going to want to have different combos depending on who you're diving, right? Because characters like Jeff and Rocket have 250 HP, and certain combos that you use against those characters won't actually work against characters with 275 HP, because the breakpoint is a little bit higher. So what is her most effective combo? Well, this is the one I came up with. I'm sure there's many other people online who have come up with other combos, but this is the one I personally labbed and came up with. So you can start it off anywhere, but I like to start it off with a wall climb. I'm going to show it to you guys fast, and then after that, I'm going to break it down slower. All right, so the combo looks something like that. And what I am doing is I'm starting off on a high position, right? I'm then jumping off and then pressing E to get the 600 coins to be able to pay for the actual combo, right? So once you jump off and then you do the yoink, right? You then, after the yoink, hold down right click, because you can dash while you're holding down right click, right? So I jump off, I yoink, and then I hold down right click, but then I dash. And then as soon as I dash, I turn around, click in both left click and right click at the same time, and then right after that press E, and it should look something like this, right? You animation cancel the claw whip into the pursuit, and then I just press left click and right click at the same time again to finish and secure the kill. So I'll do it fast again. So it's like that, and it still leaves you with one dash to get out. That is her basic bread and butter combo that I do all the time, but there's a couple variations I like to do as well if I want to remain as out of the fight as possible, right? This one looks something like this. So it looks something like that. I use that one when I want to remain as far away from the enemies as possible, so then it reduces the amount of time I'm actually in the enemy team getting shot at. Right, so I'll break this one down slowly. So again, you jump off and you press E to get the yoink to pay for the combo, but then immediately after I use Phantom Pursuit, then dash in, and then I do 3 claw swipes. It's gonna be like a 1 2 3 right there, and then I press left and right click at the same time to do the claw whip and secure the kill, and then it leaves you with a dash to get out. So those are the 2 combos I use the most on her. But then there is a final prerequisite to these combos, and it depends on who I'm actually diving. So this requires her shop menu, right? So in my opinion, her 2 strongest shop abilities are Chernobog's Crystal and Mento Fish, right? I'm gonna start off with Chernobog's Crystal. If I know that I am diving characters like Hela, like Luna, like Mantis, and maybe like there's a thing on the team or like an Emma or something, I will keep Chernobog's Crystal, because if I get stunned by Mantis or frozen by Luna or Hela, right, I can then press F to like unstun myself and then continue on the dive. So I'll just hypothetically be like this, right? And then if I get stunned, I can press F to unstun myself and then go back in with the dive. Or alternatively, if I'm going up against like a White Fox or an Invis or somebody who can double jump away, I will start off like this, right? and then throw down the Mento Fish field to prevent them from escaping. And it just makes dives that much easier to secure. It's very easy to secure kills that way because characters like Invis and White Fox just cannot do anything. And then the way you're going to want to actually play Black Cat is she is not a brawler, right? Even though she gains overshield on a lot of her attacks, like her Claw Whip or her Yoink, you do not want to be in the front lines brawling because she just does not have the survivability to maintain being a frontline threat like maybe a Magic or a Mr. Fantastic or a Blade would. She really excels in being stealthy and hiding and waiting for the opportunity to strike. Dive is one of the hardest playstyles in the game to actually play effectively, so she is really hard to play. Maybe not so mechanically, because a lot of her buttons combos are very easy to do, but just because she's a dive character, based on that alone, you need to know how to time your dive, when to do it, and who to target, which I'm going to teach all of that stuff now. So, when is the best time to dive? The number one thing I always tell people is wait for the enemy team to be distracted. Meaning, once you get into a high ground position, you always want to dive from a high ground position if possible. You wait to see the enemy team and your team engaging in a fight, because what that's going to do is the enemy tanks are going to be distracted by your team. The enemy DPS are going to be distracted by your team, and the enemy healers are going to be distracted trying to heal their tanks and their DPS. So then that's going to allow you to go in and strike. Right? And then get in, get a kill, and get out. So that's when you want to dive. All right, but now who should you actually focus on diving? Well, traditionally with diving, right, it's very hard to dive characters that have a lot of mobility. Think of like Gambit or White Fox. But because you have the Mento Fish, you can actually go and dive these characters now. White Fox is really bad into Black Cat because she can't teleport away. She's sort of just a sitting duck if you throw your Mento Fish. But if you are going up against a lot of characters that have a lot of CC, like the Thing or Rogue or Luna or Invis, you can also use the Trinobox Crystal. Let's say you get stunned, right? You press F and then you can get out quickly, right? And then use your mobility and your constant resetting double jump to get out again. So Black Cat is a very versatile character and she can dive whoever, right? Black Cat isn't exactly feast or famine either. Characters like Black Panther are very feast or famine because that's all they go in and do. They just go in and they dive and they get out. Black Cat provides a lot of utility. I mean, obviously through her portals and her wall hacks and stuff. But there is one key thing that I think will separate a lot of good Black Cats from great Black Cats, and she can counter dive very, very well. Something I would do a lot is if I'm on Black Cat, right, and I notice the enemy team's going like Daredevil and Iron Fist or whatever, right? Instead of swapping to Bucky or, you know, somebody who traditionally is a good pick against dive characters, I can stay Black Cat and counter dive. Because if my two supports are getting dove, I can throw the Mento Fish on them. And then all of a sudden, Black Panther can't dash. Spidey can't web swing. Daredevil can't do his cross dash ability. I forgot what it's called. But she is amazing at that. She's amazing at counter diving. She's a really strong dive character herself, but then also even better at counter diving. Now, she's a very strong dive character with an asterisk next to her name. I'm not gonna lie, she's actually really hard to dive by herself. She kind of just goes in and dies immediately. Playing Black Cat without somebody diving with you is very, very difficult. So when you can, type in game chat and ask for either a Venom or a Captain America or a Psylocke or anybody who's going to be there to help you dive, because Black Cat herself is very squishy. She loses a lot of 1v1s if you don't have like a Mento Fish or a Chernobyl Crystal in her inventory. If you don't have either of those, she loses a lot of 1v1s. So you're going to want to ask for a Venom or a Captain America. And if you can't get one of those, then you're going to want to switch up your playstyle to being a lot more utility focused rather than dive focused. And obviously you're still going to want to dive, but you really need to be able to get in and get out. So when you using her combos, you're going to want to be able to save a dash for yourself to be able to get out again. Because if you don't leave yourself a dash, she will just go in, use that dash, and then she's just going to be stuck. I mean, unless she has money to use Phantom Pursuit, but that goes on a 2-second, or it goes on a 3-second cooldown, and you can't just spam it. Now, the last tip I have for you guys is when using her ultimate. Like I said earlier, her ultimate is actually very hard to secure kills with because it can be healed through so easily. You kind of need somebody to help you with the momentum, right? White Fox ultimate is a very good ultimate to use with Black Cats because she can keep you alive while helping you secure kills. But there is a way you can secure at least one kill with Black Cat's ultimate. And if you go in mid dive, right? So like, let's say it's like this. You can then pop her ultimate and then pounce to somebody and slash immediately. To finish the kill, right? Sorry. And what that's going to allow you to do is guarantee at least one reset. So think of it like a Bucky ultimate, right? You're not going to want to just ult an entire team when they're at full health. You're going to want to get them low so then your ultimate finishes the kill. It's the same situation with Black Cat's ultimate. If you go in and just pop her ultimate and everyone's at full health, you're likely not going to get a kill unless you have somebody helping you. You want to go in and get them low. Then pop your ultimate. Right? Yeah, that's how I like to use her ultimate a lot. I will say I find myself feeding a lot when I use her ultimate because I think I can go and secure a kill. So when I do pop my ultimate, I see an enemy halfway across the map and I just dash to them thinking I'm John Wick and I can kill them, but it does get me killed a lot. So don't do that. Her ultimate you are very prone to feeding with. Don't let yourself get caught up in that trap. Go in and use her ult to get the 1 or 2 kills and then don't overcommit because you can find yourself dying very easily. All right, now who should you ban versus Black Cat? Well, in my experience, a lot of the supports that are traditionally very hard to dive are actually very diveable now because of her Mento Fish and her crystal that can cleanse her of any CC. So outside of like Gambit, purely because he is just the strongest support in the game, I would honestly only really recommend banning Gambit. But the #1 DPS you want to ban as Black Cat is Namor, 100%. And the reason for that is because characters like Black Panther and Spider-Man have really fast mobility that are able to get away from the squids fast enough to where they don't die. Black Cat, although she has a lot of mobility with constant resetting double jumps, right? Constantly resetting double jumps. It's not fast like Spider-Man or Black Panther fast. Meaning those squids will delete your health bar if you get in close range of them. And there's not much you can do about it besides maybe like the Phantom Pursuit. But that's only just going to delay the damage the squids are going to do to you. Alright, so Namor is priority ban #1. Ban #2, in my opinion, is probably Gambit. Even though, yes, he is easily diveable now because you can use the Mento Fish, he can still cleanse the Earthbound effect off of your teammates. Or off of his teammates, I mean. Which can then render your Mento Fish useless, right? So if the enemy backline is something like Ultron, Gambit, and White Fox, if you throw your Mento Fish on the floor, everyone will be temporarily earthbound and grounded, but then Gambit can just cleanse it, which is really annoying. So Gambit, in my opinion, is priority ban #2. And then priority ban #3, low key is not low key, is actually Penny. Because because Black Cat's mobility, like I said, isn't very like fast in the sense of like Spider-Man being able to web swing in and out and just be so quick the mines can't even track. Same thing with Black Panther. Black Cat is not like that, meaning the mines will mess her up. And because Penny just got a 4th web this update, it's going to make it very hard to actually do anything, especially on certain maps. So that's who I would ban. I would ban Gambit, Namor, and Penny versus Black Cat. Now, what type of team comps should you run with Black Cat? There's only one answer, and it's hard dive. 100% hard dive. He is such an enabler of hard dive. If you are not running Black Cat with like a hard dive team comp, like let's say you have like a Captain America and a Venom and an Iron Fist and like a Jeff and White Fox, if your second DPS is not a Black Cat, you are missing out so much because she can provide so much utility with the Mento Fish being able to prevent anybody from running away, being able to create new flanking opportunities with the portal. Like, she is just such an enabler of hard dive. If you're not playing Black Cat with the hard dive team comp, you're missing out big time. Another tip I have for Black Cat is always be double jumping. Because her double jump isn't on a cooldown, you can just spam it forever, and it actually makes her move faster overall. I believe it's 26% faster than walking in a straight line. So like, let's say if I were to go over here, if I were to start right here and walk all the way over to there versus start right here and double jump all the way over to there, it is 26% faster to double jump over there than it is to walk over there. So take advantage of that while you can. And speaking of her double jump as often as you can mid-dive, because it's just going to make you super hard to hit. Think of it like Deadpool, right? With every single dash he does when he upgrades it, it's essentially also a jump, and it makes him extremely hard to hit. You're going to want to do the same thing with Black Cat. To always be double jumping, it just makes you a much harder target to hit. But yeah, that's all I have for Black Cat for right now. She's a very new hero, so I'm sure there's still more being discovered with her. But this is everything I've been able to learn and come up with the character, in my experience playing ranked with her. If this guide helped you, leave a like and subscribe, and I will leave you guys to the gameplay.
Hero, do you think you want to be today? Meow.
DPS pool or support pool? Uh-oh.
If you prefer a different healer, let me know. I can switch, but I have been doing very good with Rocket.
All right, let's go.
Helping me monitor all kinds of dimensional disturbance. It is always reassuring to have you in Midgard.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I got Angela.
Some
Angela Blade, Luna.
The Sanctum Sanctorum is my right.
You won't be needing to stop that beast in its tracks. Double kill! Good fortune for me. Nothing threatens me. You won't be needing that.
Letting the Dark Child out, I said.
There they are. Good fortune for me. Someone's got their claws in me.
This is real firepower!
I am Asgard's might!
Alright, I'm gonna go in with my ult.
You won't be needing that. You cross!
By the eye of Agamotto!
Behind you. Good fortune for me. Double kill! Gotcha! That's 3.
The maelstrom has taken.
I did not mean to use that right
We
there.
must retreat.
Good fortune for me. I am ready to go. They've made it halfway. Slow down.
Enjoy the amplifier!
Only 60 seconds
I
left.
unleash the Vishanti.
Give me that luck. Fall! Good fortune for me. You won't be needing that. Let me freshen up. This health belongs to me. Up down to 30 seconds. Yoink! Give it.
Damn it, I tried.
You won't be needing that.
I might be able to go in.
Deliciously dangerous. You'll have to keep fighting until we have winners.
Damn it, I tried. We're going the thing now.
They hit
Magic, you think you can go a hit scan to take out Ultron?
I would agree that a hit scan would be good. I think we still need some kind of heal tank here, but
Yoink! That's that vehicle. Good fortune.
Damn it, I missed my
for
grab.
me. You won't be needing that. Good fortune for me.
I was in range of the amplifier. Damn. That was a waste of an ult for me.
After all. You won't be needing that. Down to 30 seconds. Stronger than a lion.
Strange.
Better stop that vehicle. Give me that. There's still a chance to stop them. Double KO. Give me that luck. Luck. Final 10 seconds.
By the eye of Agamotto! Tremble before
Keep
wrath!
fighting until we have a winner. Should have cast a good luck spell. Yoink! Give me that luck. Good fortune for me. Ooh, feel that power. Luck wasn't on your side. You won't be needing KO.
Damn.
The current score is
Crazy.
0.
I'm going the fuck off.
1.
I'm going off right now. Hold on.
The battle starts in 5, 4,
She's getting living.
3, 2, 1.
BP's up there.
Let's end this quick. Got better places to be.
You won't be needing that. Don't get that vehicle too soon. You won't be needing that. You won't be needing that.
That's all the mess.
I realized as soon as I did, yeah.
What's left? Deliciously dangerous. You won't be needing that. Tiger Division needs a new leader now. Good fortune for me. Double KO. Claw strike. You won't be needing that. Sorry, Panther. Law of the jungle. You won't be needing that. Better already. It's spider time! Yoink! Give me that luck. Yoink! Give me that luck. This health belongs to me. Good fortune for me. The vehicle reached a check. Yoink! Give me that luck.
Made them use both ults. Oh my god, I don't mean to do that.
Good fortune for me.
Let the devil out!
Let's make a deal. Mine for the taking. Yoink! Give me that luck.
They don't have a.
Coming through.
They have the helmet.
That definitely helps.
Just keep pushing. Good job, guys.
I need to use my Mento Fish a bit more.
There they are. Get that beast moving again. Better already. That's what real justice looks like, devil. You won't be needing that. Double kill! I kept the uppercuts. Good fortune for me. Me, ouch! Yoink! Give me that look. No holding back. I love that. You won't be needing that.
My healing factor can't keep up.
You won't be needing that. Good fortune for me.
We have company.
Let's go. That was a good game.
2, 2, 1.
Let's go. 25 final hits. Oh my god, what the fuck? God damn. Well,